Hey there, welcome back to High Infidelity, the best channel for cheating stories. Like and subscribe to channel for more spicy stories. Now, let's get into today's story video.
My 28 male, wife 29 female, slept with my best friend's brother a couple months ago, and I just found out. Please be advised that this will be a lengthy article. So I've been married to my wife for a little more than a decade. We met in high school, began dating, and eventually married after college. We are one another's first and only romantic connection. In general, we've had a really good connection. We seldom argue, we still enjoy spending time together, and we are unquestionably great friends. Until lately, marriage had been simple and joyful. She sat me down one evening in November to chat about our life. We've never been very active in the bedroom, but it's never been a major issue. She's always told me that she's not a person, and I've always respected that. It's fantastic when we have. There are no concerns there. But she informed me that night that she'd lost all passion/desire for me. She was kind about it, but she didn't sugarcoat it. She said that she just does not want it anymore. I assured her that I was aware of her situation. I was wounded, no sure, but I felt that this was a normal occurrence in a relationship that had lasted since high school. Especially because none of us has ever had relations with another individual. To some degree, I still believe that. To cut a long story short, we discussed for a couple of hours and decided that this was not good news for our marriage. We didn't make any major choices that night, but we decided to take some time to think and reflect before having another chat in a few weeks. When that time arrived, she informed me that there were several things I needed to work on that would help her regain some desire. It all came down to the fact that I wasn't making her a priority enough, and I hadn't made her feel beautiful, unique, or appealing in a long time. And she was correct. I'll confess it. As a result, I made it my aim to work on it, and everything went off without a hitch. After a few weeks of focused effort, our life rekindled. Actually, it's better than ever. It was incredible. For forthrightness and self-improvement. Then, 2 nights ago, I discovered a slew of text messages that I wasn't meant to view. It was my wife's birthday, and we'd gotten a little tipsy with some friends. She eventually went to bed, and I remained up a little later. When I went to bed, I discovered that my phone had died and that my charger was in another room. I assumed I'd borrow her phone to set my AM alarm, since I was too drunk and lazy to go fetch it. I grabbed it, saw that she had received a text from my best friend's brother, who lives a few hours away, and was at a loss for words. We last saw him at my best friend's wedding about 8 months ago, and I remember my wife mentioning that she always thought he was pretty, which wasn't a huge thing at the time. We're always honest about that type of stuff. But I had no clue they texted each other. I assumed it was a happy birthday SMS, but I wasn't certain. I debated whether or not to open it for a few moments. I've never been a snoop, and I'm not fond of the thought of reading her messages, but this seemed strange. Maybe it was the wine, but I had the feeling things wasn't quite right. As a result, I opened it. It wasn't a happy birthday message. To save this narrative from growing much longer, I'll simply say that I discovered a 2-month-old exchange of SMS and photos. The language and images were of an adult nature and rather graphic. I deduced that they met and up in December when she was in his town visiting an old buddy. They didn't seem to have since then, but they were on a regular basis. I contemplated if I was dreaming for nearly 5 minutes before concluding that I was awake. Enter a new level of agony and nausea that I've never felt before. With my judgment impaired by bourbon, I decided to rouse her up and confront her. She began by denying everything, but she was still extremely inebriated, half sleeping, and not making much sense. When she awoke a little more, she acknowledged to everything, confirmed what I had deduced from the writings. Then she spent some time criticizing me, claiming that my previously acknowledged lack of marital priorities had drove her away. Throughout the chat, I was a screaming jerk, calling her. I'm genuinely sorry of my actions that night, but if you've never unintentionally discovered your high school sweetheart turned clear wife's adultery, it stinks. We chatted again yesterday when we were both sober. It was still a bad talk, but it was a little more polite. She accepted responsibility, apologized sincerely, and told me to do whatever I needed to do. The problem is that I have no notion what I want to do. So, like many others before me, I've come here to seek your counsel. She had to go on a business trip for a few days, which is really very excellent timing since I don't want to be around her right now, and I'm just sitting here wallowing in self-pity and pondering what to do next. I adore this lady with all of my heart, yet I also despise her right now. What would you do, is my query to you all. Divorce seems to be a simple solution, but I can't get my head around it just now. People come back after infidelity, don't they? Is she really a nasty person who I need to break away from and focus on restarting my life? I'm not sure. I'm at a loss. This is the worst scenario I've ever been in, which, on the bright side, makes me glad for how simple my life has been, and I'm at a loss for what to do. Thank you for taking the time to read this. I apologize if this was too lengthy or unclear at any time. I needed to get things out of my head so I could start thinking about the next steps. All of you are in my thoughts and prayers. Story 2. Married for 16 years. He's been having an affair for 4. I, a 38-year-old girl, feel as though I'm drowning every single day. I'm not eating well right now. I'm having trouble sleeping. Everything has gotten to the point that I'm at my wit's end. I'm simply looking for some assistance, I think. We were the pair that everyone wished they could be like. You know what I mean? It's just a joyful and simple day. We've had our share of problems, to be sure. Our marriage, on the other hand, was strong in my mind. Approximately 9 days ago, Dad, 39 male, returns home after dropping our son, 14M, off at school. It was the 18th anniversary of our marriage, of our blind date. He walks into his room and begins to uncontrollably. He claims to be having an extramarital affair with his former boss at work. It's been on and off for 4 years, according to him. It was 4 years ago that I discovered him communicating with her on Facebook. They seemed to be flirting with one another, so I requested him to put an end to the situation. He said that he did. He erased his Facebook account, and I assumed that was the end of it. I had no idea what I was in for. I've been experiencing some unexplained emotions for the last 4 years. The source of my panic was something I couldn't put my finger on. But every now and again, I would have this panicky sensation. You aren't having an affair, are you? I'd question him straight out if he was having an affair. He would most likely say no. Tell me he loves me, and I'll feel a lot better about myself. I'm feeling so foolish right now. According to reports, he has been working from home a great deal more than he has previously admitted. He's been staying at motels lately, approximately every couple of months, with a higher frequency in the beginning. They would get together before and after work each day. She quit the job a few months ago and took a position at another company. They continued to see each other on a regular basis. He even went on a job interview with her new firm. He argues that he is aware that what he did was wrong. He is madly in love with me. The incident, he claims, will never happen again. He said that he had attempted to stop his relationship with her on several occasions. Her threat was that she would notify me or create problems at work if he didn't stop talking to her. It was clear to him that she had no significance to him. He said that they were often fighting and that he despises her. He's doing and saying everything that's expected of him. He's being more loving than he's ever been before. I'm pleading with you for forgiveness. Reading literature on the subject of recovering after infidelity. He has located a marital counselor for us and has shown an interest in attending a weekend therapy retreat. I've never seen him be that affectionate before. He downloaded and installed Life 360 on his smartphone. He has divulged all of his passwords to me. He maintains complete accountability for his whereabouts at all times. He claims to have put a stop to the relationship. He apologizes at least 20 times a day. I'm barely making it through the day. I oscillate between wanting to attempt to reconcile and wanting to get a divorce and be done with it. I'm not even sure why I've ended myself here. I think I just wanted to let it all out at once. I've been going over all of your tales. Thank you for being present. Edit. To make things more clear, I informed her spouse about it. I dialed his number the day after my husband informed me about the affair. He expressed gratitude to me for informing him. I'm not sure what they're doing with their marriage at the moment,